Yes, hello guys, welcome back to Football Manager 2023 with me, KJM, or Dean, whichever you prefer. Episode number 79 of our epic journey across Europe to win every top tier league in the European nations in the game. We're currently in our 8th nation, which is Slovakia. We've already ticked 7 off the list, which is absolutely fantastic. You may notice that our attributes are still improving as a manager. Now, last episode, I went over it a couple of episodes ago, but last episode we did have the editor thing up there again. Obviously, I'm working on the experiments, but just quickly to show you, in-game editor used is still at no. So, guaranteed we're not going to use it in this save, 100%. This is all legitimate. One thing I have noticed, though, episode number 79, we're only in our 8th nation. This is going to be one long process, but I am fully committed to it. We are doing all 33 nations. If it kills me. Since you were last here, though, we've had a pretty good time. You know, you were here for the 5-1 win against Trenčín. In terms of finances, we're back in the red. We're 1.3 million back in the red. We've spent some money. We've brought some players in. We have let a couple go as well, but you can see our wage budget is back up at £59,000. So we are spending the money again. In terms of the ins and the outs, we'll have a quick look over them. We have, in fact, brought quite a few in, and we've let quite a few go. 2.6 million in sales. Of course, the big one there is the 2.3 million, which we took in for Yusuf Tash, which was fantastic, that one there. There's been quite a lot of players leave since then. There's also been quite a few come in as well. We've let a lot of the youth players go, just let them go. We didn't need them on the wage budget. But in terms of in, since you were last with us, Grozdanovic was the last one that you saw, but we've brought in Myler Dodd from Bromley for £210,000. He is a Welshman, centre-half. He is very, very good. Quite pleased to have him here. He's not on a lot of money. He's got a decent value as well. 20 years old, room to improve. He's pretty decent as a ball-playing defender. Passing maybe could be a little bit better. Vision is shocking. He can't see anything. And composure as well, shocking. But I'd like to say 20 years old, room to improve, didn't cost us a lot of money. I'm quite pleased to have him here. Next in, Milton. I still haven't decided how to pronounce this. Milton Klauru, something like that. Another young central defender. This one is Bolivian, at 22 years old. He cost us £375,000 from a club in Bolivia. Again, a very, very good ball-playing central defender. His passing is excellent. His physicals are great. His mentals are great. He's absolutely outstanding. The only thing that does let him down is he doesn't like big matches. He's even a perfectionist, his personality, which is great. And he's 22, so he does still have room to improve. And he's actually gone into, believe it or not, he's gone into the Media Dream 11 for the league. Andrea Pierucci is another one in on loan from our affiliate club, Inter Milan. We've had a little bit of an injury at the attacking midfield on the left to Sinde Kile. He is currently injured. He's out for quite a while as well. So I went out and loaned one from Inter Milan, not costing us a thing. Which is, in fact, no, he is costing us something. We are paying £2,100 of his wages and a little bit of a monthly fee as well, with an optional future fee of 4.7 million. Now, obviously, we won't be triggering that because we can't afford it. But he is absolutely outstanding. He's right-footed as well. Just his attributes for this position are unreal. Inconsistent though, which is a little bit of a letdown. But in terms of fixtures since you were last here, it was the impressive 5-1 win over Prešov. We've been in scintillating form, particularly in the league. You can see just the one red there, and it was in the cup. It was quite surprising, to be honest. But we took on Rosenberok, a team predicted to finish in second, and we scraped a 3-2 win out of this one. We left it very, very late. Fabio Bellotti with the hat-trick, 86th minute, scored the winner. Apostol Vasilkan scored the double for Rosenborg. But we did sort of have the better of the game. Looking at the stats there, it looks fairly even, to be perfectly honest. And it was a fairly even game, but it was. You can see how well our attackers played in this game. We were quite good going forward. We followed that up, though, with a 2-0 away win to Michelovci. Nizar Pesto and Yusuf Tash with the goals in this one. Look at the XG numbers in the bottom left corner. They were never in the game. They were never in the game. We absolutely dominated them, and it should have been more than 2. Really, we had a cup game after that. It was against Bonova. It was an 8-1 win. I'm not going to go too much detail into the cup. We are out of the cup, as you can see. The defeat we've had to Banska Bystrica, which was bitterly disappointing, as they are listed as our rival. I think Podbrezova and Bystrica are actually in the same city, I believe, in Slovakia. But league-wise, we took on Zelinia, another very good team in the league. Fabio Bellotti with another hat-trick in this one in the first half. Quando Tuamasi with a late reply for Zelinia. But another game in which we deserved to win. Bellotti had a little purple patch, and he's played really well. Keeley not the best in this one, but you can see just how much we restricted their team by their match ratings. We're still sticking with a 4-3-3 as well. A fantastic result against Slovan Bratislava. Sindikile and Fabio Mendes with 2 goals for us after Diogo Camacho put Slovan Bratislava ahead early on. It was in the 5th minute, and I was sat here and I was thinking, oh no, it's going to be a rout, but it wasn't. And you can see again from the match stats that we thoroughly deserved it. We restricted Slovan Bratislava to just the 3 shots on target, and that's maybe reflected in their front line's match ratings, which, you know, is pretty good. We dominated the ball as well, which is fantastic. Slovan are on a little bit of a slump though, which we'll go over in a minute. Trencin were next, 2-1 win. Kile and Andriucci with the goals in this one. Nemchik with the late one for Trencin. Another absolutely dominant display. Maybe we weren't at our best, but we still came out on top. Absolutely dominant. Skalica were next. Another comfortable win in this one. They did miss a penalty in the 20th minute, but Cindy Kile and Fabio Bellotti with the goals in this one. Maybe match stats-wise a little bit closer than the scoreline does reflect, but a win's a win, you know. Trnava were next up, and it was a 1-1 draw. We went ahead early on, 38th minute, after Marco Antonio missed a penalty in the 20th minute. Alex Leno with a 72nd minute reply for Trnava. We should have won, really. We should have won, but neither team really performed at their best. But match stats wise, we should have won. Obviously, our XG is inflated by the fact we had a penalty, but so maybe it is a little bit closer than it first looks. But we did bounce back with a thumping victory over Zlate Moravce, a 4-0 win. Yusuf Tash, Marco Antonio, Boris Zavara and Fabio Bellotti on the score sheet, a 4.6 XG. And just look at their match ratings. Gallo and Balaz both in the 5s. Gallo on a 5.4. They had 1 shot on target all game. We absolutely dominated the game. They had a player sent off in the 79th minute, but the damage was already done by then. You know, it was a thumping performance. We then had the winter break, and that seems to have affected us. We did very well in the friendlies in the winter break, but we've come back with 2 successive draws. First of all to Dunstrada, Yusuf Tash. We rescued this one really late on as well. Although I say that, it was 1-1 going into stoppage time. Ofir Asiyang replied to Yusuf Tash's opener, but Lucas Ondrejka in the 92nd minute, and then Fabio Bellotti in the 95th minute. Looking at the XG match story there on the bottom right hand side, it was a very, very even game. Dunstrada probably edged it, to be fair. Timo Hauser had an absolute shocker at left back. But, you know, a draw's a draw. It's still a point on the board. But unfortunately, we did follow that up with another point. Again, we definitely should have won. Looking at the max XG story, they had an XG of 0.03. 1 shot on target. We had 8 on target and couldn't find the back of the net. Well, there's possibly a disallowed goal in here somewhere. We've scored a lot of disallowed goals this season, but we just couldn't put the ball in the net. So we have not had the best of starts since the winter break after this fantastic run that we've been on. And where that leaves us in the table, it leaves us currently sat in 2nd position. It is a 3-horse race for the title, though. Slovan Bratislava have regained a bit of their form. They find themselves back on top of the table. Trnava have just lost one, so they were ahead of us. In fact, I can show you how close it's been this season. Just look, all 3 of us have been sat on top of the table. We've done well to get back from our early season slump at the start. Trnava and Slovan Bratislava have been up there the entire time, but Slovan have had a slump themselves. If we have a look at their schedule, it started before the winter break. It started well before the winter break. First of all, it was the defeat to us way back in November. They then drew, lost, drew, and they've come back after the winter break with 2 wins. So they had a really bad... I don't think they had a win in 5 games in the league. Draws and defeats. They had which is what's let us back in. It was nearly 10 points, I think, the gap at the top. So I'm pleased to be where we're at in the table, where we're sat. We have, with the signings that we've made, reduced our odds personally. So we should, based on our history in this save so far, we should now go on and win the league, possibly quite comfortably. But we do have 2 players in the Media Dream 11 now. Milton Clauru, I still don't know how to pronounce his name. I might just call him Milton. And then Belotti with the other one in there. Of course, he's not really our player, whereas Milton is. In fact, you know what? Do you know what? I don't know how to pronounce his name, so we'll call him Milton C. There we go, Milton C. So today's game, guys. We are just over 2/3 of the way through the season. We are taking on Rosenberok. They are predicted to finish 3rd in the table now. They were 2nd for the entire season. They've not had the best of seasons so far, though. But I thought this was better than the previous game that we did, which was against Banska Bystrica, and it was a 0-0 draw. So I was right, really, wasn't I? So Rosenberok, let's see if we can knock this one off. In terms of the lineup that we're going to go with for today, it is going to be Fernandez in goal, Marco Antonio, Dodd, Milton, and Pereira as the back 4. These two need to build up a partnership. I think that's possibly some of why we've not had the best of returns after the winter break. Sindikele is not injured. I don't know why I felt the need to sign another left-sided winger then. I thought he was injured. It's going to be Reese, Chyler and Zavara as the 3 midfielders. Reese is probably not going to be here much longer. His Arsenal manager keeps pestering me about him playing out of his agreed position. We are supposed to be playing him as a mid-centre. Obviously, he's now as a defensive midfielder in our system. So he's not going to be here much longer, but we do have cover for him. It's then going to be Yusuf and Pierucci as the 2 inside forwards. And I'm going to start Andriucci. Belotti's gone a little bit off the boil recently, but 15 goals in 22 appearances is pretty good. So hopefully we can rattle this victory off against Rosenberg, keep the pressure on the 2 teams around us, get back to some winning ways after the winter break. It really has affected us, and I'm not a big fan of it, to be honest. We do get it in some of these nations that we come to. Unfortunately, not as bad as, I think it was it Latvia, or might have even been Slovenia, where we were just clicking forward for 3 months. It was torture. Right, 15 minutes on the clock. We get our first highlight, and it is Sissoko back to Darwish for Rosenberok. Rehak looking over the top. Good header, though, by Dodd. Only as far as Milana. Okay, Miraz. We'll just say Minor. It's a good ball over the top, though, and they're in, and somehow we've cleared it off the line. Managed to get it away. One thing I have noticed there is Slovan Bratislava, they were behind to Trenchin. But Miraz with the corner, it's a free header for Darwish. Really should be hitting the target with that. He was unmarked in the middle there. Couldn't find the target, though. But Trnava are ahead. Slovan are drawing. So we need to get ourselves minimum of a draw out of this game. But Dodd bringing the ball forward a long, long way. One of the player instructions that we do have in this new tactic is for the centre-backs to dribble more, as Andrea Pierucci gets his first goal for the club. Fantastic for the young man there, the young Italian. That's good work by Dodd. What a long way for a centre-half to travel with the ball. Cuts back, pulls it across. The initial efforts by Reese. I think it cannons off Andriucci and falls kindly to Pierucci. Too many Uchis. Too many Uchis. But now we are the only one of the top 3 that are actually winning. So that's good. We now find ourselves at the top of the table. As now we looking for Rosenberg to get back into the game. That's a waste, though. And Dodd easily comes across, cuts it out, finds Chyler, Pereira, Pierucci, Reese. Chyler again, Zavara, nice, crisp, fast passing here. Good ball out to the left-hand side to find the goal scorer, Pierucci. Good ball forward. Oh, a little bit too much on it. Reese was almost in there, but just too much on the pass from Pierucci. Can we get it back, though? We can. Dodd wins the header. Zavara, Reese over the top. It's going to fall kindly for Pierucci, looking to take his man on with that pace that he's got. Now it comes back instead to Milton. Pierucci again. Reese looking to pick out the pass again. Yusuf's in. Yusuf, can he score? No, he's hit the post. Don't know where the goalkeeper went. Yusuf really should have scored though. And as we get into the half-time break, you can see it has been another one of those thoroughly dominant performances by Podbrezova. The other two teams in the title race are currently still drawing, so that's good. They're both at 1-1. But we need to extend our lead here in case we can see one. But Marco Antonio looking to do that now, driving towards the byline, pulls it across. It's cleared by Polic though. Chyler wins it though. Reese, Zavara, Chyler again. All the way back to Dodd. Now Milton. We've worked this nicely. Recycled the ball. Feeds it forward towards Reese. Reese looking over the top towards Yusuf again. Polic wins the header. And Androy helps it further on. But Dodd brings that down calmly. Finds Milton. Dodd again, the Welshman, into Chyler. Chyler looking over the top towards Pierucci. Should get this. He does. It's inside the penalty area. Pulls it across for Andriucci. Surely he's pushed, but it doesn't matter because Yusuf Tash, the Turk there, is there at the back post for his 11th goal of the season. And what a fantastic start to the second half by Podbrezova. Really, really well worked goal. I'm sure would have been a penalty in here if we hadn't scored. Good play by Pierucci. There's the push. But thankfully the ball fell to Yusuf, who's able to calmly slot it away. Still 1-1 in the other two games as well. And that's the end of the game. That was an extremely quiet second half. Not a lot happened. Comfortable win though for us. A nice 2-0 victory over Rosenberok. Can't complain too much at that. That was very, very comfortable for us in the end. Unfortunately, Trnava and Slovan Bratislava did both score around about the same time. So it's as you were in the race for the title. Dunstrada won as well, so they keep to just the 5 points behind us. They are in it as well. It's technically a 4-horse race, this title. Dunstrada are doing really well this season. It's disappointing that those two scored though. Disappointing. It would have been nice to be top of the pile. We do have a third of the season remaining though. The league is just about to split. In fact, it might have split now. Let's have a quick look. Maybe not yet. It should be splitting after this press-off game. And then it gets quite difficult. Obviously, once it splits, we play the teams in the top half of the table, which is Trnava and Slovan Bratislava. So those games are going to be vitally, vitally important. Hopefully, we can wrap it up before the end of the season. But if we don't, I hope that we come back to face one of these two, if that's still the title fight. A little bit of suspense to it, but I would like to get Slovakia done and get ourselves into Poland as quickly as possible. Guys, thank you very much for being here again. Episode number 79. I will see you all in episode number 80 though, guys. If you do enjoy what you've seen and you do want to see episode 80, please remember to hit that subscribe button just to keep yourselves in the loop. Hit the like button as well. Let me know you've liked what you've seen. Obviously, comments are always welcome. I enjoy your comments. I enjoy, you let me know what you think of how the save's going. But guys, I'll see you all next time. Cheers.